Hey guys, Eddie Wilson here. Thank you so much for joining the Think Realty Podcast. My privilege to always be the podcast host, and we've got a great guest for you today. But before we jump into the guest, I want to say a quick thank you to our podcast sponsor, which is Real Property Management. Working with the right property management company can put more money in your pocket, not less. Real Property Management provides a higher standard of property management to make sure you're maximizing the return on your investments. Experience the real difference with Real Property Management. Visit Real Property MGT. That's realpropertymgt.com. Our guest today is Kim Slaughter, and Kim, have you ever been on the podcast before?
I have not.
First time ever.
Yes.
Kim is actually our MC for our Think Realty event tomorrow that we're having here in Phoenix. If you haven't ever been to one of our events, make sure you come to one of our events soon. We've got our big virtual one coming up on August 13th. But Kim has been known in our space for all the work that she's done with her and her husband, and she's been in every type of real estate investing. They've done fix and flips, they've done rental properties. They're known for all the stuff that they've taught on being landlords and all that good stuff. But if you don't mind, just walk us through who you are, where you've been, how you got to this place in life.
Great. Well, thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Sure.
So, from Phoenix, Arizona, and our first investment property we purchased in 1999. It was actually a home we moved to in Vegas. We lived there for 5 years. And instead of selling it, we kept it as a rental, and it sparked that, wow, this is kind of fun.
Sure.
You know, the income starts going in. So we started investing in real estate then. We then actually got our license, did traditional real estate to try to build up so we could then do fix and flips and pay ourselves the commission. So we did a ton of fix and flips, we did buy and hold, we did wraps, subject to, you name it, to get us to the point where we could actually fund our rental properties.
Sure.
And so it took off from there. And
was the game always to have rental properties?
Yes.
Is that from the very beginning?
Absolutely. We wanted the passive income. So we made it through the crash. Just, you know, I know there's only a handful of people out there that actually made it through the crash and survived and kept doing it.
Sure.
But when we did that, because we were leveraging everything, is we changed the way we did it. And so the game for us was cash. Like, we were not purchasing anything unless we had the cash.
Sure.
So if the market crashed tomorrow, we'd still be okay. So we totally switched the game, and we did fix and flips, and we were able to, in actually Northwest Indiana is where we had purchased a bunch of properties, and we were able to take some and sell them off to other investors. And so we'd sell off 4, keep 1 from the money, and it just built from there.
Yeah, yeah. And I know that you guys have always been advocates of owning and holding your rental properties and creating a passive income to allow that passive income to give you the lifestyle that you want. For you guys, though, you put in 20 plus years in real estate investing. And I know at some point, real estate investing isn't always fun. You know, like it does give you an amazing outcome, you know, if you do it right. And I know that, you know, part of the struggle for a lot of real estate investors is it just seems like this means to an end, but then it's like you don't necessarily have a lot of purpose. Like, and so I know you and Greg are both very purpose driven. You guys have big hearts, and you a few years ago started a nonprofit. Was that because of that feeling? Like, I know a lot of real estate investors, they make good money, they do well, but then at some point it's like you just feel like you need to do something more. Is that what made you start the nonprofit?
Yes, it did. The reason why I started the nonprofit is because of my love of animals, which we can get into in a minute.
Sure.
But yes, real estate investing allowed the freedom to do what I love. Real estate investing is not sexy. It's not like grinding and going in and dealing with tenants, dealing with the houses. I mean, that aspect of real estate is not fun.
Sure.
But the game of making money and allowing you to then have the freedom to go on and do what you want is what life to me is about. It's about giving back.
Sure.
Like, for me, I was not put on this earth just to make money and keep it. I was put on this earth to help others, and that's just how I was raised and who I am. So real estate definitely gave us the freedom to both do what we now are passionate about.
And so you started your nonprofit. If you don't mind, tell the audience what the nonprofit is and what you guys are, the mission of what you're trying to accomplish.
Sure. So it's called Together Saving Paws. We focus on 2 key areas. One area is we provide the ballistic bulletproof vests to canines and law enforcement across the country. And then we also work with rescues. I'm not a rescue, but I work with local rescues to find a dog. So we rescue a dog, have that dog, I have a trainer that trains that dog to become emotional support, and then we're placing that dog with survivors of human trafficking and domestic abuse. So I like to say we're saving 2 souls at once.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
that's our main 2 missions.
And I've read a lot of the studies about what these support animals can do for someone who's been in duress for a long period of time, and how it gives them stability and gives them an outlet of safety and other things. But I do love that you are combining the human element as well as the animal element, because you're such a passionate animal lover.
Yes.
It's awesome to see you guys doing both. That's really cool.
Thank you.
What caused the love for animals? Was it growing up you just had this one dog that you loved, or like where did it all start from?
Ironically, so I grew up always loving animals, but it really hit when we had a dog named Kisses, a little Shih Tzu. We had Hugs and Kisses. And Kisses was about 9, and not to throw this off, but to answer your question, as I was pregnant and I was full term and my daughter was stillborn, that dog then, she was already my daughter, but I became so obsessed because I missed not having a child that she really became my child. And then that deep, deep love of animals just accelerated even more. So I want to make sure that every dog is cared for and taken care of. And I mean, I love all animals. It doesn't matter what it is, but my focus right now is on dog. We actually have an outdoor cat that we adopted that I didn't want to see starve and feed it and everything else. So.
That makes a lot of sense, is that you, in the loss of your daughter, tied a lot of those emotions to an animal, which then ties back to your nonprofit. And that's what I obviously I love the give back angle and love nonprofits, but it usually is some trauma in your life that causes you some passion that you're willing to give up so many things to give back in that area. And that makes a lot of sense of why you do that. And now to see it come full circle, where you're taking rescues, and those rescues then get inserted in someone else's life to give them a similar experience that you had.
Yeah, we actually had, there's a young lady here, and she's given me permission to talk about her. She actually did a news clip for me. Her name is Anai, and she was born in Ukraine, and at 3 years old, she was adopted by a U.S. family. When they adopted her for the purpose of trafficking her. That was the only reason why they adopted her. So she literally had to leave what she knew as an orphan, come to the United States and be trafficked right away.
Wow.
So she grew up.
How old was she?
She was 3.
Wow.
But then I don't think they trafficked her right away.
Yeah.
She's 28 now, and she was rescued about 4 years ago. And now what's amazing is she always loved animals. And she had a couple animals in her younger years, and she had to leave them because of what happened.
Sure.
And so when I heard her story and she learned about what we do, we found a dog named Callie. Callie was a rescue, and she was trained by a lady out here called Best Friends Training. And she then presented Anai with Callie, and still to this day, I mean, this was 3 years ago, she emails me pictures. She's just like, you saved my life. I didn't have a purpose. Like, I didn't want to get out of bed. Now every day I have a reason to get out of bed, and I can't thank you enough. So right there, just, I mean, they saved each other. And it's just such an awesome feeling to be able to do that and offer that.
That's really cool.
Thanks.
Yeah. And I know that you do have a passion for the canines that serve as well.
Yes.
And so why do you spend so much time and effort making sure they have the ballistic vest? Is that something that they just can't afford, or these, the police departments can't buy them, or like, why is that such a need?
Yeah, so the first thing that gets cut in any law enforcement budget is the canine vests. There, and especially unfortunately nowadays with all the defund police and the stuff that's going on, is they will put all their efforts. Now, like when you have a Scottsdale Police Department, they have the funds.
Sure.
But you go we have Salt River Police Department on here on the Indian Reservation. They did not have the funds. So they rely on nonprofits such as myself to be able to supply those. And my thing is, every single day, officers strap on a bulletproof vest because they're going out and they don't know what's going to happen.
Sure.
They want the same for their canine. These canines to them are not dogs. These are their partners. They are it's everything. These dogs save their lives because they're being put in the front line.
Yeah.
So my thing was, let's make sure that every officer that wants a bulletproof vest to be able to have one.
Sure.
So we gave 2 actually locally here to Salt River Police Department. We have 5 going to Tucson, and these bulletproof vests are custom made for each canine. Most of the canines are Belgian Malinois or German Shepherds. They're custom fit. They have an NJ3 rating, which is the highest ballistic rating you can have. It's what police officers wear, so it's going to stop stabbing, punching, guns. Now they're not 100%. Canines can still, but it covers all their vital organs, and so they're huge and very important to have, but just a lot of departments can't afford it.
Sure.
So it's just.
What are the cost of a vest?
Right now, my cost is $1,250, but it can go anywhere from $1,200 up to $1,500.
Wow.
Just depending on the vest.
Yeah.
And these are Street Fighter, really good quality vests that we make sure that these, and we let the officers get to customize them with what colors they want, patches, all that good stuff. So,
that's awesome.
And then they're shipped directly to the handlers.
Yeah. Do you primarily do this yourself, or do you allow other people to give and donate to Together Saving Paws?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So we can't do this without people giving.
Yeah.
So right now this is just me. I'm small. I'm not a big nonprofit. Eventually I'd like to get there. Right now it's just me. I do fundraising. I'll do stuff at Topgolf, word of mouth. There's actually a local DJ here that is very, very popular, and I got associated with his wife because they have a Love Pup Foundation, which is rescues. So they've had me come to a couple of their events and have booths, and so yeah, the give back is the most important thing, and also looking for people who want to volunteer and help that are actually here in Phoenix locally,
Sure.
or even nationwide that want to call local police departments to see if they need vests, or call trainers to see if they want to do that as their give back with training the emotional support animals.
Sure.
So what's really cool, there's actually something called Pilots for Paws, and they are local pilots that own, not local, but pilots that own their own planes, and their give back, because they have to get up and fly their planes, they will take a dog from one state to another. So if I have somebody in Chicago that we trained a dog here, a survivor, we could actually transport that dog to them through the Pilots for Paws.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's
so there's
awesome.
a lot of awesome opportunities.
Yeah, I love that. How can they get in touch with you if they'd like to hear more about Together Saving Paws?
They can email me, which is just kim@togethersavingpaws.org. My website is togethersavingpaws.org. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. Any of those ways help.
Very good. Awesome. What's the greatest need that you have right now?
Monetary donations, money, money for sure.
Is it just because you have so much opportunity and just not enough funds to take care of it? Okay.
Yes. And my goal, and everybody always asks me, what's your ultimate goal? My ultimate goal is to never say no.
Yeah.
I never want to have to tell an officer, no, I can't get you a ballistic vest. Or I'm sorry, survivor, I can't get you a dog right now.
Yeah.
So that's my goal, is to never ever have to tell somebody no.
Do you have survivors right now that you could give dogs to?
Yes, yes. We have survivors, we have handlers that are police departments. So, I also need help with like other trainers, because my one trainer I have, she can't take on all of the dogs. So, but I have rescues. I mean, I have so many rescues that I could get a dog within minutes.
Yeah.
But we also have to make sure. Another big thing is we've got to vet the survivor.
Sure.
Are they at the point now where they can care for the animal? Because we don't want to place a dog that's not going to be cared for.
Right.
Can they afford the vet bills going forward? Can they afford the food? Do they have a yard where the dog can run? So that's all. There's a lot of different moving parts, but we make sure it all happens.
That's awesome. Very good.
Thank you.
Well, I appreciate it. I think for any real estate investor that's listening, they're sitting there probably thinking, like maybe when you first came on, and it's like we talk about the nonprofit, but I think it's such a great topic to talk about how using real estate that gives you the freedom to actually do what you feel called and most passionate to do. So it's because real estate in the end is not about the money. It's about giving you the freedom. If people are chasing money, they never receive freedom. It's like, but real estate as a vehicle can give you enough resources that it gives you freedom to then chase the passionate things that you have on your heart. But awesome. Well, I hope that if you're watching today that you will go to togethersavingpaws.org. You will follow Kim or the organization on social media. And like we have, I've pushed a lot of my organizations to giving to Kim's nonprofit, and I'm very proud of that. As you can see, it's a very worthy cause. And so whether you're excited about helping people or whether you're excited about helping animals, you get the best of both worlds with what Kim's doing. And so I highly recommend it. And I'd love to see a lot of people here on our podcast go and give, because I know that really no donation is too small. Anything that they can give, you can put to good use. And so I'm super excited about that.
Thank you. And one last thing is I don't take $1 for myself. So every single dollar that comes in goes right back out.
That's awesome. Yeah, I do love that. That's so important, because so many nonprofits, you see less than 30 or 40% of the proceeds that they get actually make it to making a difference. And so for 100% to go to making a difference is massive. So yeah, thank you so much for being on the show today.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for being a part of the podcast today. I want to say one last thank you to our podcast sponsor, which is Real Property Management. Working with the right property management company can put more money in your pocket, not less. Real Property Management provides a higher standard of property management to make sure you're maximizing the return on your investment. Experience the real difference with Real Property Management. Visit realpropertymgt.com. That's realpropertymgt.com. And make sure that you put on your calendar August 13th. We have the 2025 Think Realty Virtual Summit. And at this summit, we're going to teach all kinds of investing strategies from single family to multifamily, self-storage. We've got mobile home parks. We've got a lot of great stuff coming, as well as how to understand how to maximize the investment opportunity in 2025. The market's been moving, and we want to help you understand the best ways to invest, all the current opportunities, and you can get all of that at thinkrealty.com/virtual, and you can get your ticket for the 2025 Virtual Summit on August 13th, and we will see you there.